Sleep is one of the three pillars of your mental health, which can lead to or sustain severe depression or brain fatigue. The other two pillars are your stress tolerance or irritability when things go wrong, and your dopamine system, where motivation, confidence, zest for life, and concentration reside. These are all extensively discussed in the podcast Depression or Brain Fatigue. Naturally, they influence each other in both positive and negative ways, but that's how the beautiful biofeedback or AI of your magnificent brain works. Everything affects everything in the interplay of neurophysiology, neurotransmitters, and hormones. Each of these pillars can come under serious strain or get caught in a negative feedback loop, especially as destructive fears gain ground in your brain. Here, we focus solely on sleep and its dreams.
To put it simply, a persistent level of anxiety can increasingly torment your body or mind, and typically first affects your ability to fall asleep easily. As the intensity or severity of anxiety increases, your ability to stay asleep is gradually disrupted, and that's when we, as psychiatrists, start to worry. If this level of panic persists, the brain may soon spiral into a state of depression. As mentioned in the book, The Physics of Fear, for us, panic is a very high level of anxiety that recurs daily or becomes intertwined with your biorhythm, and it is more destructive than anxiety, which can arise and fade.
Persistent sleep disruption alarms us because it can suddenly tip into a major depression, which I like to call brain fatigue. Recovery from this can easily take 1 to 1.5 years. Medication becomes essential, and full recovery through simple rest becomes impossible. Falling asleep can be aided by various tips and tricks, which are extensively described in books or can be found online, and these may differ for each person. If these tips and tricks no longer work for you, then anxiety has you by the throat.
From that point, meditatively managing your fears becomes the most effective approach, at least if you want to avoid or reduce medication. At this stage of disrupted sleep, you can quickly achieve results with silent meditation or mindfulness. The term itself gained scientific acceptance after multiple studies, including those conducted at the renowned Oxford University, proved that Buddhist techniques were effective and could even prevent relapse into depression.
Make it easy for yourself to try these out, as hundreds are available once you type mindfulness or body scan into YouTube.
The most successful approach is to try several, as some people are more auditory and find peace with a specific voice or accompanying music, which might not suit someone else. Others find calm visually and are more easily guided to peace and quiet in their minds through an imagery-based story that resonates with them, like the falling of leaves from a tree, for example. Still others respond better to tactile techniques where parts of their body are tensed and relaxed, or their breathing is guided like the ebb and flow of tides.
In hypnotic sessions, I've had the privilege of testing these for years with many deeply traumatized people. Thank you for that. Sometimes it can also be useful to alternate between a few of these meditative guides, which you've tested beforehand to see if they suit you. For disrupted sleep maintenance or REM phases, these techniques are less effective, which seems logical since these phases are only disrupted with more severe traumas or anxieties.
That's why I categorize difficulty falling asleep as related to worry or anxiety, and difficulty staying asleep as linked to panic or a rhythmic daily disruption of deep sleep. This brings us to the phenomenon of morning inhibition. Morning inhibition is one of the criteria for a major depression or a severe form of brain fatigue. It comes in two forms: low motivation and tedium vitae, or unhappy waking. The first involves lacking the energy to get up or start your tasks. The second means you dread the day or its tasks or have lost passion for them. Both can occur separately or together and represent different neurophysiological blockages in your brain's functioning. Both are responsible for triggering the production of cortisol and adrenaline, leading to an inverted daily rhythm. Instead of waking up fresh and going to bed healthily tired, you're already tired or life-weary upon waking, followed by a delayed kickstart, making you more active later in the day.
As long as the adrenal glands can still produce these substances, you may still get that kickstart. But once the adrenals are exhausted, this too can fade, And then we, as psychiatrists, truly panic, as we'll need to resort to heavier interventions like hospitalization, RTMS, ECT, ketamine, and others.
The key takeaway is that sleep maintenance issues are always a good reason to seek professional help.
Why is REM sleep so important?
During World War II, German doctors conducted experiments on non-Germans, attempting, as efficiently as they could at the time, to eliminate all REM sleep. To keep it brief, nearly no test subject avoided going mad or psychotic after 2 days, and almost none survived 4 days. One organ after another shut down.
Deep sleep and REM sleep are likely healing for the body, and REM sleep in particular seems to preserve the proper functioning of your mind or mental health.
During this phase of sleep, animals and humans process the previous day's problems and seem to relive experiences to better handle them in the future. The seeking system at its finest.
If the trauma or anxiety is too great, the dream turns into a nightmare or an anxiety attack.
If you think you no longer dream, this could have several causes. You may have lost connection with that part of your brain, or your dreams are of such poor quality, or the reliving of trauma in your dreams is so severe that it must be suppressed by your frontal system, or the lid of your pressure cooker. Back to the simplest question regarding good sleep maintenance with deep and healthy REM phases. Do you have energy or motivation upon waking, or are you happy or excited about what the day will bring? Only dynamic meditation can help here, simply because the anxieties or traumas are too great and struggle to pass through the bottleneck of the 3 to 4 processing or REM phases. Both dreaming and emotional release are a form of reenactment or reliving a moment of anxiety or trauma, which gets stuck like a broken record, replaying until it drives you mad or psychotic.
With dynamic meditation, you consciously relive the distressing experience and help reduce the intensity of the stored fear. If pleasant or sexually tinged dreams return, you've undoubtedly made good progress in meditation.
Another simple question about dreams. What did you feel in your dream? Any rational interpretation is one too many, as dreams belong solely to the realm of feeling, and details are mere incidental actors in the play. The day before, you might have spoken with your uncle at the supermarket, and both appear as characters and settings in the theater of your dream. Both the actors and the scenery may seem important, but they usually have no meaning when analyzing the emotions in your dream. For us rational people, this is very difficult, and we always tend to focus on the details. No, the feeling in the dream brings you to the essence of the magnificent mechanism that animals likely developed to ensure their survival. Hence the more meaningful question: what specific feeling came up for you? If someone responds with their gaze downward or emotionally focused, you'll likely get a genuine feeling to work with as a therapist. If their gaze is upward, they'll likely create a rational response, leading both of you astray. The deep fear or trauma to be processed won't be found this way. Sometimes it helps to consciously direct the gaze downward together, but asking about the feeling often gets you there too. Lost battles or life-threatening situations needed to be processed by large animals to survive long enough to raise offspring.
During these vital dream phases, those life-threatening scenarios are deliberately replayed to overcome fears or build better survival strategies. The seeking system in action. Dynamic meditation helps restore your REM phases by consciously reliving the past with less fear or pain. Experienced practitioners seize the moment when they wake in a cold sweat from a nightmare to dynamically meditate, fall back asleep, and relive the same dream, but as the victor.
Then you truly have control over your fears. If you laugh, play, dance, seduce, or are seduced, care lovingly or are cared for in your dreams, then the 3 positive emotional systems, care, lust, and playfulness, are open or available to you again. The chance of waking up fresh, sharp, and enthusiastic can only increase after such healthy dreams. If nightmares return, don't suppress them, but lend a hand if you're trained in dynamic meditation, or seek an expert to teach you. Good luck consciously manipulating the most ingenious survival package of mammals. To what extent other species possess this is unknown to me, and for a long time it was thought we were the sole inventors. How narcissism can distort objective research.
Inventing anxious, crazy, and perverse dreams. Yes, we're good at that because we've allowed disturbed fears to terrorize our beautiful brains for too long. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and listen to all the podcasts in the vain hope that you'll go through life less disturbed. Listen as if your life and that of your friends and descendants depend on it, because it does.